It's time now for a look back at the year that was. The WIN Newsroom has compiled a special year in review, highlighting the people and events that dominated the headlines. Just 9 days into the new year and the heavens opened up over central Queensland.
Wind gusts of up to 50 kilometres an hour accompanied the deluge. Gladstone Road made life difficult for incoming commuters.
The remnants of tropical cyclone Barry putting a dent in holidaymakers' plans. The long-awaited report into the disaster that claimed the lives of 11 men in the No. 2 underground Marra mine was revealed to a packed courtroom in Rockhampton.
But Frank Windridge reserved his most scathing findings for the Rockhampton Mining Inspectorate, saying he found an organisation dangerously undertrained and understaffed. Distraught relatives dismissed the report, angered no one will face criminal charges.
11 miners to BHP and nothing, mate. Nothing at all.
Sweeping changes to mine safety were recommended, unions vowing to make someone pay for the tragedy. After a year of funding hurdles, the Capricorn rescue helicopter landed. February saw political history in the making.
I intend to advise Mr Rob Orbidge and then Governor Leneen Ford of my intention to support Rob Orbidge on the floor of the House.
The two main factors influencing Mrs Cunningham's decision were the 53% of Queenslanders who voted in support of the coalition at the July 15 poll. The decision saw Labor fall from power in Queensland, the coalition forced to govern the state with a one-seat minority. March also brought a new political party to power in Capricornia.
As far as we're concerned, the drought's broken.
Yeah, she's gone.
A shell-shocked Marjorie Hensel graciously accepting defeat as part of the national devastation of the Labor Party.
It was a similar result in Hinkler, former Labor member Brian Cortis failing to reclaim the seat. Incumbent National Paul Neville returned with a 10% swing. A middle-aged English tourist was attacked by a shark off Heron Island, but was still able to walk out of the water and raise the alarm.
I realised it had got my arm, so I just screamed and swam as fast as I could to the shore.
Still in the outdoors, and Shoalwater Bay is internationally listed.
Conservationists believe it will provide for the long-term future of the area and bring almost immediate benefits.
It will attract more scientific research.
Easterboard tragedy, the tiny township of Calliope rocked by the public shooting of 27-year-old Joanne Brown. The young woman was gunned down while drinking with friends in the Railway Hotel.
The small community remains in shock tonight at the loss of the well-known local.
Just everyone's quiet, like Sean said, you know. No one really wants to talk about it.
Police launched a manhunt for the alleged murderer, Mrs Brown's former de facto. Late on the same day, his father made an emotional plea for his son to surrender. Russell Williams walked into the Brisbane Police headquarters. Mid-month, the residents of Rolleston were told their tiny township was the state government's preferred site for central Queensland's new super dam.
Their towns and farms may have to go, washed away by 1.4 million megalitre dam to rival the mighty Fairburn.
The news met with anger.
The dam is built for coal and for the big people in the world.
Meanwhile, some Capricorn Coast residents were also to lose their homes. The Livingston Shire Council deciding to close the long-running Mullumbin Caravan Park.
For people like Bill Thursby, that's more than just a roof over his head.
Well, there's 3 of us here that have had heart attacks, so we're down here recuperating.
Inadequate amenities, too costly to replace or relocate, sealed its closure. Not even legal action by residents could keep the park open. May brought heavy rain, and while it was a reprieve for selected rural properties, angry North Rockhampton residents watched as their homes were flooded. As the water lapped the entrance to homes, SES crews used sandbags in a bid to stop water rushing into low-set residences. Drama on the coast as an armed robber held up the Yeppoon Commonwealth Bank. A hoax call redirected police away from the main street, where a man walked into the coastal branch demanding money.
He fled with money from the vault and the bank manager as a hostage.
A massive manhunt failed to locate the bandit, who police later in the year revealed as a serial bank robber. A spectacular collision between a train and a truck at Blackwater sparked calls for the installation of boom gates. Miraculously, 3 men escaped with their lives. The massacre of 35 people in Tasmania prompted the introduction of strict new uniform gun laws across Australia, the federal government legislation sparking outrage.
Are we to be unprotected against rape, burglary, bashings and belting by anybody off the street?
This piece of legislation can be used to totally disarm the Australian population.
Halfway through the year, and a lucky escape for 3 labourers after a house they were re-stumping collapsed on top of them.
Stacks that we were holding that place up just gave way, just fell down on top of us. So yeah, we're pretty lucky to get it. There's a bit of
Showtime bought an exhibition no one expected. A prize bull knocking handlers to the ground and charging a lunchtime crowd.
Chaos and confusion followed as people fled from the rampaging bull's path.
It just happened so fast it wasn't funny, you know.
Ironically, an hour later, another bull also broke free. A Rockhampton suburb was rocked late in the month by a neighbourhood dispute that ended in a fatal shootout. Officers donned bulletproof vests, the street blocked off, while they attempted to apprehend the gunman. A distraught eyewitness told of what followed.
In the house said, put your gun away, put it away. And he said, I'm not, I'm going to shoot the bees.
Others explained how the gunman then took pot shots at the men.
A couple tried to run in beside the house and I think he got shot. That's one that got shot in the back of the head.
A man surrendered himself to police, but 3 members of the local Rebels motorbike club had been shot. 46-year-old Philip Goatley later died. A 54-year-old man is facing murder charges. July and controversy for the Livingston Shire Council, with residents claiming they'd been double billed for water following the introduction of meters. The State Ombudsman confirmed the council had breached the Local Government Act, but retrospective legislation passed later in the year meant there was no obligation for the local authority to repay any money. The Roslyn Bay Lookout is a popular point for tourists, but proved fatal for one visitor.
Eyewitnesses say the Brisbane tourist and her husband had been walking along the Lookout's steep path shortly before the woman plunged 60 metres to her death.
2 days later, and another freak accident. A North Rockhampton man crushed to death by a tree branch. Following an endless stream of public sector cutbacks, angry Rockhampton workers rallied in one of the largest protests the city has seen in years. A WIN cameraman captured the dramatic conclusion to a high-speed police chase.
A police car was damaged after it rolled off the road.
The driver, whose car that also went bush, appeared in court facing 9 charges, including attempting to unlawfully kill. Police were faced with the intriguing death of a woman, her badly decomposed body found in a Northside Rockhampton unit.
Upstairs in a bedroom corner, they were shocked to find a badly decomposed naked body wrapped up in several sheets, blankets and spare clothing.
Police later arrested a man in Sydney, charging the 28-year-old with murder. The end of the month saw the shock sacking of public school cleaners. Education Minister Bob Quinn announcing privatisation would save $50 million. But after a massive statewide campaign by unions, the government reversed its decision. August saw Central Queensland Ironman Robbie Thomason killed, his panel van colliding head-on with a truck.
His boss and training partner quickly on the scene.
We'd virtually done everything together. We worked during the day, trained of an afternoon. The families went away on holidays together. I was virtually like a big brother to him, and it's very, very sad what's happened.
The death of the 20-year-old shocked the life-saving community, thousands attending his funeral. A spectacular fire turned an inner-city backpackers hostel and Thai restaurant into a burning inferno.
2 fire officers collapsed inside the burning building. One of the men has been admitted to hospital with burns to 36% of his body.
An English backpacker who was hailed a hero after alerting tenants to the fire was charged with arson the following day. A foiled extortion attempt left a Yamba man with a bullet wound to the head in a dramatic turn of events north of Rockhampton.
The shootout coming to a bloody end when officers ordered him to put down his weapon.
Mid-month saw an end of an era in taxation in Rockhampton. The office closed after a traumatic few months for staff following a short-lived reprieve. September brought the first coalition state budget in 13 years. Health and education were the big winners, but there were extra costs for smokers and bank users. An investigation was launched into a former Central Queensland Catholic Church-administered orphanage. There are also calls to close the Rockhampton Zoo following alleged violations of animal rights. The campaign given weight a month later when the State Environment Minister acknowledged the standards needed improvement. October saw 2 people killed following a high-speed collision south of Rockhampton. They are among 60 killed on Central Queensland roads this year, 2 less than in '95. 2 Rockhampton Correctional Centre inmates escaped, while one turned himself in a day later. The other, a convicted armed robber, spent a wild week on the run from police.
A young lady disturbed an intruder hiding under her bed at a house at North Rockhampton.
Following a massive manhunt that led police to North Queensland, the prisoner was captured in Port Douglas and sentenced to an extra 4 years in jail. The end of the month saw Central Queenslanders criticised for being racist, following claims Singaporean soldiers on rest and relaxation in Rockhampton were being subjected to racial abuse. November saw Rockhampton-based hospital doctors join an Australia-wide protest. Tragically, a mysterious bat virus killed Central Queensland woman Trisha Paget, the first known human transmission of the Lissa virus. December saw the Rockhampton City Council stall on plans to redevelop the city heart. The Police Minister Russell Cooper apologised to the Woorabinda community following a controversial warrant operation that coincided with the funeral of an elder. The year ending on a tragic note with the death of a Korean tourist who drowned while snorkelling off Great Keppel Island.